vlog. Today we are in the Healthcare Technology Association's event. This event is about genomic and future sequencing. And we have Cristin Print in here. Welcome.
We have only a very small number of leading Māori scientists who are these amazing people leading genomic projects, but there's so few of them. We need people who can apply new methods or old methods in new ways. Very good at innovation from very few resources, right?
Yes.
As you
what are the challenges do we have in this industry?
It means that we have to always be reaching out to the world, always knowing what's going on in places. With consumer grade GPUs or graphics cards are so powerful.
Christiane, welcome to my vlog. Today we are in the Healthcare Technology Association's event. This event is about genomic and future sequencing. And we have Cristin Print in here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi. Thank you very much. I know you have talked a lot about your experience that are related to genetic research. And I'm very glad that you also talk about the inequality that it can create.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people are not lucky enough to come to join us tonight. Could you please explain a little bit more of how can we, as a researcher or as a student, to avoid from getting too close to racism or colonization through genetics?
Well, certainly. I think it's really important. I think one of the issues right now is that we know a lot more about the distribution of genomic features in some populations than others. And that's often in populations where investigators have come from, Western populations and so on. But we know very little, for example, about Māori genomes. We have only a very small number of leading Māori scientists who are these amazing people leading genomic projects, but there's so few of them. So that can potentially generate an inequity. If we have a patient in the clinic who has a family inherited mutation that may be leading to a disease, or maybe it's not a mutation, maybe it's just a normal feature that we all have. In many peoples where we have hundreds of thousands of individuals that have been sequenced, we can work out, is it just a normal variant, or is it a mutation that causes the disease? But in some groups where there hasn't been the numbers of people contribute to these studies and the leadership provided into those studies, we just don't know. So if we see a mutation in the Pacific or a Māori family, only these days we're starting to have the numbers of people to understand. So there's several projects in New Zealand being led by people like Tony Merriman and Peter Shepherd, Stephen Robertson, that are trying to generate New Zealand data to much better understand Māori and Pacific distributions of variants, and many of these projects are being led by Māori and Pacific people, which is super important.
Cool, thank you. As an undergraduate student with a background of health science and statistics, I might not know too much about genetics and biology, but I'm very interested in how can we as a data scientist or computer scientist collaborate with you or other researchers like you?
I think there's great opportunities to collaborate. The background to those opportunities is the need to understand biology. So the challenge isn't anymore, in my view, computational techniques or even getting hold of the data. There's masses of data out there. What the real challenge is the biology. It's the biology that's lacking, and it's lagging behind the technology. So the technology can cheaply produce data. I can download over 2 petabytes of cancer genome data and clinical data, but I don't know what most of it means because we still don't have the biological expertise. So as a data science student, you have the opportunity to add to that biology expertise using your own data science skills. We need people who can apply new methods or old methods in new ways to pull or distill really valuable information for patients out of raw data. Raw genomic data has no value at all until you distill valuable biology from it. And that's important because clinically, if we see a patient that has a particular gene variant or mutation, we often don't know what it means.
Yeah.
And often from studies of large data, over years we develop that knowledge to then help the patient in the future.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. So, for example, if now I would like to build a model by myself, can you suggest a few platforms that we can download those genomic data?
There's a lot of ways to download it. One of the very best is called Zena, Z-E-N-A, which is from the US, from the NIH. If you just Google it, you can download all sorts of cancer data, gene expression, mutations, clinical information, all given with the consent of patients for people around the world to use. And a lot of people around the world, students and student projects, are using this, and that's leading on to publications where new insights are found. There's so much data that there's room for large numbers of people to analyse it in their own way. And especially if you can come up with something that is novel and really exciting, you have a good chance of publishing it.
So, if, for example, we want to focus more on AI and genetic or bioinformatics, what other do you think New Zealand is having an advantage?
I think New Zealand's got two advantages. One is our number 8 fencing wire approach to things. We're very good at innovation from very few resources, right?
Yes.
As you know.
Yeah.
And that makes it really exciting because students and older researchers all have this attitude of innovation. We're very entrepreneurial. The other thing that I think we have here is a great data science community. After all, the computer language R that almost all of us use around the world in this area was invented in the University of Auckland.
Yes, that is something we should be proud of.
Very proud of, but it's very effective and very useful. I think the really exciting thing here, though, is the collaborative nature. Lots of clinicians, patient groups, and scientists work together in New Zealand. That's fairly unique.
Yes, I can feel that. I think that is also why we can have this association, because people are very kind, very open-minded, and collaborative. If we look at the other side, what are the challenges do we have in this industry?
I think in New Zealand especially we have the challenge that we're remote and that we're not very well funded. And that's something that means that we have to always be reaching out to the world, always knowing what's going on in places, spending a lot of time overseas in conferences and a lot of time on the web. Poor funding means we have to be more innovative. We have to find ways to do things less expensively. And that's where data science comes in. It's really cheap to use someone else's data and do an AI experiment. You mentioned AI before. Nowadays, with consumer-grade GPUs or graphics cards being so powerful, we can do amazing things in a home computer almost that previously would have been a supercomputer just 10, 15 years ago. So great opportunities here to do things cheaply and to reach out to the rest of the world.
Thank you very much for coming to become our guest speakers for the event and also become our guest speakers for this vlog. If you have not followed us, please go into Wilmot to click on Care Tech Dia or go on Facebook to find us. Thank you very much. I'm Christiane. You can also find me online on LinkedIn through Cristin Zhao. Thank you very much.